I've titled my story tonight, The Comedian. Thanks, Helen, for booking this cruise for us. It's a well-needed vacation for me. I've been putting in a lot of long nights and a lot of hours trying to get this new radio station up and running. And it's just about ready to go. I'm just looking for one more person. Well, who are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for someone to fill the morning talk host. Well, who are you looking for? Well, I'm looking for Jeff Martin. He was a friend of mine from college. He was the funniest guy I ever knew. He could look at you and make you laugh. And after he got out of college, he started doing comedy. He became very popular. He was on television several times. He was in Vegas all the time. And he was starting to break it into the movies. And then one night when he was on stage performing, he got word that his wife and daughter were killed by a drunk driver. He just turned and walked off the stage, and you just never saw him again. Nobody knew where he went to. I have a lot of people out there looking for him, but nobody knows where he's at. And I hope I can find him. If I can't, then I'm going to have to fill that position with someone else. Oh, well, now I'm just going to sit back and enjoy these warm tropical breezes for the next 7 days. I can't wait. And they say the show's going to be pretty good. It's going to start here in a few minutes. Then Tom looked over and, well, I don't believe it. I'll be right back, Helen. He walked over the other side of the room. And, excuse me, miss, was that Jeff Martin that was just here? Yes, sir, it was. He's director of entertainment on our ships. Well, which way did he go? I'm a good friend of his from college, and I'd kind of like to talk to him. Well, I think he went back to his office. You just go through those doors and down the hallway, and you'll see a sign on the door that says director, and that's his office. So Tom went down the hallway and knocked on the door. Yeah, come on in. Well, hi, Jeff. Well, hi, Tom. I've been looking for you all over. Well, now you found me. Here I am. I don't have time to talk tonight, though. I'm just about ready to get this show going. Well, I understand. Just give me a few minutes. I have a proposition for you. No, I'm not interested, Tom. Well, now, hear me out. I just bought a new radio station, and I'm looking for the morning talk show host. No, Tom, I'm not interested. I don't do comedy anymore. The world's not funny to me anymore. Well, I understand that, but now hear me out. I got a blank check for you, Tom. Anything you want, anything you need, it's yours. I just know that you're going to be able to fill the spot that I need. If you want to make it talk, make it talk. If you want radio, if you want music, if you want sports, it can be anything you want. I know you'll just do the right thing. I want you to at least think about it. I have to know within 2 weeks, though. If not, I'm going to have to get somebody else. I need you in my office by the 16th. I'll have airline tickets at the airport for you, a car, and I'll have a hotel booked in your name. I hope you'll come. Well, I'll consider it. Well, that's all I can ask. It was nice seeing you, Jeff. You too, Tom. So Tom went on back and sat down next to Helen, and they watched the show, and he made it a point to make sure they stayed out of the way and not cross paths with Jeff anymore the rest of the cruise. The 7 days went real fast, and it was time to leave ship, and Helen and Tom started walking off towards their car in the parking lot. And Tom turned around one more time to look at the ship and remember his vacation. And when he did, he saw someone standing up on the third deck looking down at him. And he knew that it was Jeff looking, and he didn't want to make a note of that, so he turned around and just walked on back and left. All the time, Jeff was thinking about this new job that he might like to try, but he really didn't know if he wanted to. So he decided he would try it for 30 days. So he went to the owners of the cruise line, and he had a lot of vacation time coming, and he asked for the time off, and they gave it to him. So he flew to L.A. He checked into his hotel room. Later that night, he started driving around L.A. to try to get used to some of the streets and the traffic and everything, find his way to the radio station. Then all of a sudden, there was a little blue car that just spun around and cut him off, weaved in and out of traffic. Man, where are the cops when you need him? That guy drives like he owns the road. I just wish I had the power to just zap that car and make it pull over and stop for about 15 minutes. So he kept driving. A few minutes later, another car spun around him, another car, another car. Boy, I just don't believe these drivers out here. They're all a bunch of jerks. They act as if they own the road and nobody else is even on it. So he went back to his hotel room and got up the next morning to go to the station. He went in, saw the receptionist, and says, "Excuse me, miss, I'm Jeff Martin. Is Tom here?" "Oh, yes, Mr. Martin. Come on with me. I'll take you to his office." "Hey, Tom, Jeff Martin's here." "Well, come on in, Jeff." "Tom, I decided I'm going to try it for 30 days. If it doesn't work out, then I'm going to quit." "Well, that's fine. Come on, I'll introduce you to everybody and then show you around the station." So they walked down the hallway, and "Jeff, this is Cindy. She's going to be your producer. She takes care of all the problems that pop up here at the station. And those guys over there in the corner, that's your sound techs. They take care of all the stuff electrically that I know nothing about. And come on, I'm going to take you on back and introduce you to all the people in the back." So Jeff went around and met everybody at the station and saw what the station was like. And as he gets ready to leave, Cindy says, "Well, see you in the morning, Mr. Martin." "Well, Cindy, we got to get one thing straight right now. My name is Jeff. Mr. Martin was my dad. So from now on, you call me Mr. He says, "Don't call me Mr. Martin. You just call me Jeff." "Okay, Jeff. We'll see you tomorrow." So Jeff started driving back to his hotel room. Then again, he got in all this traffic. People just speeding, cutting you off, running people off the road. Nobody cared about anybody on the roads. Man, I wish I knew where the police were at. They just not here at all. If I just had the power to zap just one of these cars and stop it, maybe I could save one accident from happening and save one life. That would be worth it all. So I got back to his hotel room, and he sat down on the sofa and took his shoes off. And then he got up and started to walk over and put his shoes by the front door, and then it happened. There was a big loud crack of thunder, and a big light glared up, and then he was touched on his shoulder. "Hi, Jeff." He let out a scream, threw his shoes, knocked over a lamp, grabbed his heart, turned around. "How, what, who, how'd you get in here?" "Jeff, I'm your guardian angel. I was sent here to help you." "To help me do what?" "You're being granted a very special gift, and I'm here to see that you don't abuse it." "What gift is that?" "Well, we've heard your plea that you'd like to have power to stop cars from causing accidents. God knows you're a good man, and he's granting you these powers, but I'm going to oversee what happens to make sure you don't abuse it." "Well, I wouldn't abuse my powers." "Well, Jeff, we kind of all say that. We're to follow one shepherd, and sometimes we hear another voice, and we get ourselves in trouble. There's certain rules that you're going to have to follow. You can't change the course of any sporting event. You can't gamble, and you can't do anything that's going to cause anybody harm." "Well, I wouldn't do any of those things. I don't really need you." "Well, I think you're going to." "Well, okay, so what are we going to do? How are we going to handle this?" "Well, I'll just be here to just kind of oversee what you're going to do." "Oh, so you're going to follow me around like my mom?" "Well, no, it won't quite be that way." "Well, how am I going to explain you to everybody?" "Well, Jeff, nobody's going to see me except you." "Oh, I get it. I'm going to be the stupid guy running around talking to himself all day." "No, it's not going to be that way either. I'm just going to be there when you're going to use the power." "Okay, we can do that." "All right, Jeff, I'll see you tomorrow." So Jeff went on sitting down. He was thinking about just what he was going to use as his format for his program tomorrow. He really didn't know. He finally decided he's just going to leave it up to his fans to call in, if he had any fans. Just kind of think of what they're going to talk about. And whatever it is, they're going to do that for a few days until he figures out just what he wants to do. So he got up the next morning, got all dressed, he went over, got his shoes from the door, and he was walking back over to the couch. And then all of a sudden, he was touched on his shoulder again. He threw his shoes again, screamed, knocked over the same lamp again. He says, "Now we're going to have to change some rules around here. You just can't keep popping in on me. My heart's not going to be able to take it." "Well, Jeff, I didn't know you were that fragile." "Well, yeah, when you just pop in on somebody when they don't know what's going on. Is there any way that you can just blow a little horn or something to kind of let me know that you're coming?" "Well, yeah, I guess I can do that." "Okay, we're going to do that then." So they got in the car and they started driving toward the radio station. And, "Well, Jeff, you want to try your power out?" "Well, yeah, what do I have to do?" "All you're going to have to do is just click your finger and point to the car and move your finger across, and the car will follow the direction you go." Well, that sounds easy enough. Well, get ready, Jeff. Here comes a car. Just then, that little blue car that cut him off the day before come flying around him. Jeff clicked his finger, and that car just went over the side of the road and stopped. Hey, this is pretty cool. I kind of like this. He went on. Here comes another one. All of a sudden, a little red car come flying around, and the same thing. Jeff must have then did 10 or 15 cars on his way to work. He got to the radio station. Cindy asked him, well, Jeff, you ready? You know what we're going to do as a format today? Well, not really. I think I'm just going to leave it up to the listeners to call in, and we're just going to talk about what they want to talk about. Fair enough. Let's go. Jeff put his headset on, and 5, 4, 3, 2, on the air. Good morning, LA. This is Jeff Martin here. I'm going to be your new talk show host here, and I really don't know what the format's going to be. I'm kind of going to leave that up to you to call in, and we're just going to kind of discuss things you want to talk about. But the very first thing I want to talk about are some of these drivers here in LA. I've driven in a lot of big cities. I've been in New York, I've been in Chicago, and several other cities. But I want to tell you, you have the worst drivers in the world here in LA. They all drive like a bunch of jerks. They think they own the road. They just don't care about anybody. All of a sudden, the switchboard lit up. The first caller got on. Good morning, caller one. Hey, Jeff, welcome to LA. Yeah, I know what you're talking about with all those drivers. We have to fight that every day, just people not caring about anybody else. Jeff, I just wish that the police were around here a little bit more often, but most of them are in the neighborhoods pulling the moms over that are running late, getting their kids to school, or trying to get the dads who are trying to rush to work because they're running late, instead of being out here where the real problems are. Well, we're going to see if we can get that stopped. We want to try to get people to drive as slow as they can and prevent as many accidents as we can. That's going to be our new goal. So Jeff finished out his show that day. He left, get in his car, and his angel was already in the car. And he got in there and he says, hey, by the way, what's your name anyway? My name is Ashley. Well, hi, Ashley. Did you think anything about the program today? Well, I kind of like what you said about how you want to try to stop all the accidents and stuff. You're a good man, Jeff. I know that that's really deep in your heart, that you want to prevent as many accidents as you can in life and save lives. That's a good cause. I think it'll go over well for you. So all the way back to his hotel room, Jeff was just zapping cars left and right, pulling them all over. He got back in his room, just thinking about things that he was going to do tomorrow morning, starting on his show. So he got up the next morning, got all dressed, went over and got his shoes, and about that time he heard it. Ooga! He grabbed his shoes and threw them across the room and knocked that lamp over and broke it, grabbed his heart, turned around. Ashley, what are you doing? Well, Jeff, you said blow a horn. Well, I didn't mean an ooga horn. You're going to give me a heart attack yet. Well, I'm sorry, Jeff. I tell you what, let's do something different here. Can you just do a little wind chime to kind of let me know you're coming? That'll be a little bit easier on my heart, and I won't have to worry about things and won't have to buy so much furniture anymore. Well, I can do that, Jeff. I can do that. So they left to go to the station. All the way there, Jeff's zapping cars left and right, pulling them over, slowing them down. He got there to do his program that morning, and right away he started a new program that he thought up the night before. Well, good morning, LA. This is Jeff Martin here today. Before I start anything, I want to tell you a couple new programs I'm going to start here with the station. The very first thing is I'm going to need your help. I'm going to want all of you to call in as often and as much as you can. He says, I'm going to start a program called the Jerk Patrol. And what your purpose is going to be is you're going to get out there and you're going to find all those jerks driving in these cars on the street and call in and make them complaints. We're going to tally up all the complaints, and the one who has the most complaints at the end of the month, we're going to give them an award. We're going to do our program live that day at their office where they work, and we're going to present them with the Jerk Award. And then another thing that we're going to do is for every complaint that we get, the station's going to put $10 into a fund, and that at the end of the month, we're going to give that money to some charity. So all of a sudden, the switchboard just all lit up. Everybody liked the idea that Jeff came up with. They wanted to be part of the Jerk Patrol, and he was going to get some bumper stickers printed up that they could have it on their bumpers. And then one caller called up and said, "Hey, Jeff, did you see all those cars lined up on the expressway this morning?" He says, "Man, they was all those guys that's been speeding every morning, passing us up, or just sitting there waiting for their cars to start." He says, "It's almost like the police have some kind of ray gun that they're shooting these cars with and making them stop." Jeff started laughing and says, "Well, yeah, that'd be a pretty good idea if something like that happened, but we just want as many people off the street that are bad drivers as we can. That's going to be our goal." So Jeff finished his program that day, and he went back to get in his car to drive to the hotel. And Ashley was already in the car waiting for him. "Boy, Jeff, that was a good idea you came up with today. I think it'll work. It's a pretty good idea that you have." So they went back home, and Jeff got to his hotel and started thinking about other things that he wanted to try to do at the station. Got up the next morning. He just went over to get his shoes, to put them on, and then he heard the wind chimes. "Well, now that's a whole lot better, Ashley. At least my heart's not ready to fall out." So he got his shoes on, and they left and started going to the station. He was zapping cars all over the place, going to the station. When he walked in, Cindy told him that she had a letter from an organization just started. It was a group of moms that are fighting against drunk driving, and they'd like for him to come to their next meeting and speak. "Oh, no, Cindy, I don't want to start doing stuff like that. I don't think I'd be very good at that." "Well, Jeff, I think you'd be very good at it. You all have something in common. You've all lost a loved one. And that'd give you something to bond with." "Well, I'll think about it. Get all the information and let me know." So Jeff kept doing his program day after day after day. A couple weeks later, it was a day that Jeff had to go for his meeting with the moms group. So he was a little bit nervous. He went to the meeting, got there a little bit early, and there was a young lady sitting at a desk doing some paperwork, and he walked up and, "Excuse me, are you Millie Johnson?" "I'm Jeff Martin." "Well, no, Mr. Martin, I'm not. Millie's running late today. Her child got in trouble at school, and she had to go take care of some problems, but she's on her way. Should just be a few more minutes." "Well, okay, that's all right. I'll just go around and look at some of your literature and read it, and when she comes in, just let me know." So a few minutes, young girl came over to Jeff, and, "Mr. Martin, Millie just walked in. That's her over there in the red blouse." So he walked over. "Millie Johnson?" "Yes, I'm Jeff Martin." "Well, hi, Jeff. Sorry for me being late. I had a few problems today. Here's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to have our meeting first, and then we're going to have dinner, and then I'll introduce you to speak. But don't be surprised afterwards if all the ladies come up and want their picture taken with you and get your autograph, because they're all your biggest fans. They listen to your station every day." "Well, I can take care of that. That's good." "So is that your son over there? Is he the one that got in trouble at school?" "Well, Jeff, yeah, but actually it's not my son. It's my nephew. My sister and brother-in-law were killed in a car accident by a drunk driver when Billy was only 3 years old, and I've been raising him, trying to give him a normal life. I put my life on hold to try to be there to everything that he does." "Well, that's a very good idea." "Yeah, it gets hard for me to do things sometimes, but I think he deserves it. That's the best I could do for my sister. Be okay if I go over and talk to him?" "Well, sure, I think he'd like that." So Jeff walked over to Billy. "Hi, Billy, I'm Jeff Martin." "Well, hi, Mr. Martin. I hear you got in trouble at school today." "Yeah, there was a bully picking on some kids, and I stepped in, and I got in trouble for it." "Well, you still did the right thing, Billy, even though you got in trouble." "Well, I kind of don't feel like I did." "Oh, I see you play baseball. You got your baseball glove. You like baseball?" "Oh, yeah, I really like it a lot." "What position do you play?" "Well, I really don't play a position. They really didn't want me on the team because I don't play good at all." Says, "But they have a rule in the league that if a boy shows up for tryouts, you have to put him on a team, and if they show up for the games, you have to play him every game. But I don't get to play very much. I sit the bench most of the time." "Well, I tell you what, we got a few minutes before the meeting starts. You want to go downstairs in the parking lot and we'll throw the ball around a little bit?" "Well, great. That sounds good. Let me go tell your aunt." So Jeff went over to Millie and told her that he was going to take Billy downstairs and toss the ball around a little bit, and she thought that was a good idea. So they were throwing the ball around a while. Then Jeff showed Billy how to get into position in front of the ball so it wouldn't get behind him, and how to bend over and scoop down, pick up the ball, and throw it all in one move. So Billy was trying this, and all of a sudden Jeff said, well, Billy, we better get upstairs. We're going to be late for the meeting if we don't. So they went up there, and on the way upstairs, Jeff turned to Billy, and he says, Billy, why don't you sit next to me at the meeting? You mean it? Well, sure, we're teammates. That's what teammates do, don't they? Well, I guess. So Billy sat next to Jeff at the meeting, and all through the whole meeting they were playing tic-tac-toe on the program. And then it was time for Jeff to speak, and he was introduced, and he gave his speech. And afterwards, Millie was right. All the ladies came over, and they wanted their picture taken with him and get his autograph. And afterwards, they all left, and all was upstairs was just Millie and Billy and Jeff. And he walked them down to their car, and he said, well, I'd sure like to come when you have your next game, Billy. Well, my game is Saturday if you think you could come. Would it be all right, Millie, if I came to his game? Well, sure. So she reached in her purse and took out a piece of paper and wrote down directions to get to the ball game and her phone number in case he got lost. Well, I'll be looking forward to Saturday. So they left, and Jeff went on back to his hotel room, and he got up the next morning. Got to the radio station, and he started telling all of his fans, well, you got to call in. Today's going to be the last day that we're going to be able to complain for this month. By the end of the day, we're going to tally up everything, and tomorrow we're going to be doing our program live at the office of the winner. So about an hour before Jeff finished his program, Cindy gave him the tallies, and he says, okay, we got the winner of the Jerk Award. Remember that little blue car that we talked about the very first morning? He got the most calls. He's our biggest jerk of the month on the roads. So we've already talked to his office manager, and we're going to be there tomorrow morning. We're going to do a live program presenting him with his award. And also what I'm going to do is the money that we'd been putting in the bank that we're going to give to a charity at the end of the month, I decided this month we're going to give it to a certain moms group that's just been formed. They're fighting against drunk driving and bad drivers, and that's kind of the direction we're going. I'm going to take a check over and give it to Millie Johnson and her group. They have a very good program there for all the moms and people that are hurting from all the lost ones because of accidents. It's a very good program, and I think that's something we should do. So I'll be presenting her with a check right after I present the award. So he closed out his program that day, and he went back to his hotel room. Got up the next morning, went downtown to the Drake building. That's where the winner worked at. The winner's name was Chuck. So they started doing the program live outside, and he walked inside and met with the office manager, and the office manager was laughing. He thought it was funny that one of his employees was going to get a jerk award for being the worst driver in L.A. So they walked down the cubicle where Chuck worked. And, hey, Chuck, you got some people here that want to talk to you. Yeah, who? He turned around and he saw the radio crew there, and saw Jeff with a microphone. Well, Chuck, we have a program on my station that we're here to present you with an award. An award for what? What did I do? Well, most of my listeners are what we call a jerk patrol, and they're out there on the roads going around trying to find out all the jerks that are driving badly on the streets. And you're the winner. You beat everybody out on the street for the most complaints that were called in for the month. So we're going to present you with a jerk award. Do you have anything to say? Well, I really don't have anything to say. I really didn't realize that I was that bad a driver. I guess I'm just going to have to kind of be a little bit better. Well, that's all we can hope for. If we can save one person from getting in an accident or one person from getting killed, it's worth it all. So Jeff closed out his program. Well, listeners, we're going to play music the rest of the day. I'm signing off the air now. I have to go over and present a check. So starting Monday morning, we're going to call in again and start finding all the other new jerks that are out there. So see you on Monday. So Jeff closed out his program and got in his car, and he drove over to the office where Millie had set aside there for the ladies group. He walked inside, and Millie was behind a desk doing paperwork. Good morning, Millie. Well, hi, Jeff. I didn't expect to see you here. Well, I guess you haven't been listening to my program the past few mornings then, have you? Well, no, I've been tied up with Billy at school and stuff. Well, we gave out the Jerk Award today, and today's also the day that we're going to hand out the check to the charity that we think deserves it. And I'm going to give it to your organization, Millie, so you can help moms and anybody that is in trouble or needs to talk to somebody from their loss. You mean it, Jeff? Really? Yes, Millie. It's your check. Here's a check for $100,000 from the radio station. We hope it'll do your program really good, give you a lot more flyers, things that you can always dreamed of doing. Well, it sure will, Jeff. And she started crying. She gave him a big hug and a kiss on his cheek. Jeff was just getting ready to go back to his car, and he turned around and he says, Millie, are you doing anything tonight? Would you like to go out for dinner? I seem to be able to talk to you, and you and I have a lot of things in common. Well, yeah, Jeff, I'll have to get a babysitter for Billy. No, that's okay. He can come too. Are you sure? Yeah. So Jeff went on home and started getting ready for his date, which he hasn't gone on for a long time. And he's just getting ready to leave, and he heard the wind chimes. And, no, Ashley, you don't have to go with me tonight. I'm not going to be zapping any cars tonight. I'm just going to go out and spend some time with Millie and Billy. Well, we seem to have an awful big smile on that face for just going out to talk to a couple people tonight. Well, yeah, I'm kind of excited about going to Billy's game tomorrow. It couldn't be because of a certain aunt, could it? No, it's because of the game tomorrow. Well, okay. So Jeff went on out and he had his date with Millie and Billy, and it went really well. They sat there and laughed, and Jeff started telling jokes again. He had half the people in the place laughing. Then he walked them and they got in a car and drove back to Millie's house. Billy was tired and he went on into bed, and Jeff and Millie, they sat out there on the porch swing for a long time and talked. Finally, it was time, getting pretty late, and all of a sudden the awkward moment came. Jeff didn't know how he was going to end the evening with Millie. So he stood there for a few minutes looking stupid, and then all of a sudden he stuck his hand out to shake her hand. And she says, oh, come here. And she threw his hand aside and gave him a big hug and a kiss on his cheek. And he said, Millie, I have to go out of town tomorrow. I have to do some special family business tomorrow. But maybe we can get together when I come back. Would that be okay? Sure, Jeff. Just give me a call. So Jeff got back home. And then he's thinking about Billy's game. He hoped that what he did for Billy was enough to help him where he's going to be able to play. So he did the business that he had to take care of, and he got back to L.A., and the next morning was going to be Billy's game. So he got up real early, started getting ready, and I heard the wind chimes. Well, no, Ashley, you're not going to have to go with me today. He said, I'm just going to Billy's game, and then I'm coming back home. Well, are you sure? Well, no, I'm not going to be zapping anybody. Well, okay. So Jeff got to the ball field early, didn't have a problem getting there at all. In fact, the only ones that were there when he first got there was just some of the coaches. And so he went up to one of the coaches, and he says, are you Billy's coach? Well, yes, I am. Who are you? Well, my name's Jeff Martin. The radio Jeff Martin? Yeah. Are you going to do a program about us or something? No, I'm just here to watch Billy play. Are you going to put him in today? Well, I don't think so. I probably won't. We really want to win this game, and Billy's not too good a player, and we just don't want to put him in. But don't you have rules that if a boy shows up for the game, that you have to put him in? Well, yeah, we do, but are you going to make trouble if I don't? No, I just think you ought to give Billy a chance. Well, I tell you what, Mr. Martin, I'll put Billy in, but it probably won't be until the 9th inning. Well, that's fair enough, as long as he gets a chance to play. So a few minutes later, all the other families started coming with their kids, and the team started forming out on the field and by the dugout. Millie and Billy came, and Jeff walked over to him. Well, hi, Slugger, are you ready to play? Well, I sure am, but I probably won't be in. Well, we'll see. Hey, Billy, your team's starting to warm up over there. You better go and start practicing and warming up a little bit. So Billy ran over to his teammates, and Jeff and Millie went up and sat down in the bleachers. And they were talking a little bit, and Jeff looked over and noticed that everybody had paired up on the team to practice and throw the ball around, all except Billy. He was by himself. Nobody wanted to be with him, and he was just throwing the ball up in the air and catching it himself. Then the game started, and right off the bat, Billy's team was behind by 1 run, then 2 and 3. It stayed 3 runs the whole game. And then the 9th inning came, and the coach did what he said. He'd put Billy in. All of a sudden, the teammates, oh, Coach, don't put him in. He can't play. The parents are doing just about the same thing. They didn't want Billy in there at all because he couldn't play. Jeff stood up and says, come on, Billy, show him what you can do. They put Billy out in right field. They figured that was the least spot he could hurt the team. The very first pitch, crack, went the ball, and the ball went right to Billy. Billy remembered what Jeff showed him, how to get in front of the ball so it wouldn't get past him. He bent down, scooped down, picked up the ball, and threw it to the second baseman, held the runner to first base. All of a sudden, Jeff stood up. That away, Billy. The coach just turned to him and a smile on his face. Billy's team retired the sides. Now it was Billy's team, their last chance to try to win the game. They were down 3-0. All of a sudden, Billy's team hit. They got 2 runs on, or two runs on. And they had the 3rd run on, bases loaded. When Billy got up to bat, he had the scenario that all boys go through when they're in baseball. That's bases loaded, full count, and you're going to hit the grand slam to win it for your team. So Billy thought about this, and the very first pitch, he swung and he missed. Second pitch, he swung and he missed. Then there were a couple balls, and all of a sudden, Billy had a full count on him. So he's going through the scenario that every little boy goes through. The next pitch came, and crack, Billy hit the ball. Jeff flicked his finger and knocked that ball right out of the field. And as Billy rounded third base, he couldn't believe it. All of his teammates are waiting at home plate to greet him at home. So he was the hero of the team. He won the game. So after the game, the coach told all the players to go over to the concession stand, and anything they wanted was theirs. Then they came up to Jeff, and he thanked Jeff for reminding him just what baseball was all about. And then he went back over by the team, and a little bit later, Billy came over to his aunt and Jeff, and then they left and went back home. Jeff got in his hotel room, and then he heard the chimes. Well, hi, Ashley, what are you doing here? Well, Jeff, I'm going to have to leave now. Well, why's that? You broke the rules, Jeff. I have to leave. Well, I didn't break any rules. Jeff, you used your power to change a sporting event. Well, yeah, but that wasn't for me. That was for Billy. It doesn't make any difference, Jeff. God holds us to higher standards. God doesn't grade us on a curve like we grade ourselves. And you broke the rules, so I'm going to have to leave now. It's been fun being with you, Jeff. You're a good man. Well, it was fun being with you too, Ashley. I had a lot of fun with it. So the next thing you knew, that Ashley was gone. So Jeff went on and went to his radio station the next morning, and he figured on the way there he was going to see if he still might have had a little power left. And it didn't work. He just clicked his fingers, and they just kept clicking, nothing else. So he got to the station, and Cindy told him that his program is now the most popular listened to station in L.A. Everybody wanted to be part of his jerk patrol. It was the biggest thing and the biggest crave there was out now. So he went all week long, and toward the weekend, he called Millie up and told her that he had to go back to his hometown. There's some more business that he had to take care of. And he'd call her when he got back. So he went to his hometown. It was only a few hundred miles away. He pulled into town, and it's the same. It hasn't changed in years, and he really hadn't been back there very much since the funeral. His home, he just gave to his brother and sister-in-law. He just didn't want to move back into it anymore. It was too hurtful. So he went to the diner and got something to eat. Then he went to the florist, got some flowers, and he went to the cemetery. It had been so long since he'd been there, he almost forgot where they were buried at. So it took him a while to find the gravesite, and he found it, and he walked up, and he brushed away all the dead grass and dead leaves that had blown up against it. And he put the flowers in the vase that was there, and he knelt down, and all of a sudden he heard wind chimes. Not now, Ashley, not now. Then he heard the chimes again. Not now, Ashley, I told you, not now. And then all of a sudden he heard it. Hi, Daddy. Jeff stood up and he turned around, and there was Ashley standing there with Jeff's wife and his daughter, all in the glow of light. Hi, Jeff, darling. We come here to tell you that we're okay, that we want you to move on. Jeff started to walk towards them, and Ashley said, no, Jeff, you can't come any closer. This is holy ground here. But I miss you guys. Jeff, it's okay. But I'm afraid I'm gonna forget you. You won't forget us, Jeff. We're going to be in your heart and your mind forever. We'll always be there. But we just want you to move on. We're okay. I love you. I love you too, honey. Love you, Daddy. I love you too, Pumpkin. We have to go. And then they faded out into the light, and all that was there was just Ashley. Thank you, Ashley. I really needed that. I thought you did, Jeff. You're a good man, and you need to move on with your life. You have a big future ahead of you. Well, thanks again. And Jeff turned and started walking back toward his car, and then all of a sudden he heard it. Ooga! Jeff jumped and tripped over his feet, fell to the ground, and all he could hear was Ashley's voice in the wind. Ha ha, I gotcha. He says, yeah, you got me again. Thanks, Ashley. And he left and got in his car. As he's driving back to L.A., he got on the phone. He called Millie. He said, hey, Millie, I just finished up all the business that I have to take care of here, and I'm going to be back in L.A. in just a short time. Do you think you'd like to go to dinner tonight? There's some things I'd like to talk to you about. Well, sure, Jeff. I'd like that a lot. So Jeff went on, and his radio station stayed number one for a long time. Jeff moved on with his life. He even started getting back into comedy and doing comedy. And every time you saw Jeff from that moment on, he had a big smile on his face. His whole life changed. God bless.